the reason this was made was for Unit 33 of Games Design, which was all to do with creating a 2D animation. This has been my final piece, so there are some aspects that I'd love to clean up, maybe spend a bit more time animating. So it should go without saying, the first part, when I first began this, the issue was the rotoscope footage. In order to rotoscope the footage, I used Adobe Photoshop, which essentially, you import the video you want. So I already made a video, cut together of all the scenes I wanted to be rotoscoped, and once this was done, I decided to essentially trace over each frame individually. The animation itself and the world of Nier Automata is very dark and very unclean in a way. So I felt having a neat, clean animation would really detract from that sort of feeling and vibe. In a way as well, I wanted it to be sort of eerie, which is sort of my reasoning behind the use of Fell Fearing by Port Robinson. An absolutely amazing song, and the only reason I have used it is because of the juxtaposition of that classical music going into loud, really dark sort of trap. And essentially, with the rotoscope footage, after tracing over roughly 200 frames, I would then import it into After Effects, trim the layers to how long I wanted them, and then you'd sequence the layers using the keyframe assistant. From here, then you'd pre-comp it, or you'd export it and then drag it back in. As this is the second time I've reiterated this animation, what I did this time was, because there were a lot of gaps in my animation, I essentially had to freehand animate a lot of stuff. So you'll see with the raw droplet dropping onto the eye, that was freehand animated as well as the eye in the first. So in order to fix this, I had to go back through each animation and essentially rename them, so it was like 01, 02, 03. And then it still just needed a bit of cleanup because of the way After Effects orders layers, and it orders them by category of number instead of order of number. So it's ordered by like everything starting with a 2. So you'll have like 20, then it'd go into 200s. So the animation itself uses, well, the rotoscoping part mainly is the central point, and it is like the nice peaceful part. Then I wanted to get into part of the game, well, part of the game footage where it was all sort of action-based, all sort of distorted, again fitting in with the music choice. In order to make it look a bit more futuristic, I was using sci-fi overlays, which I'd found was free stock footage. In order to do this, I would have to use a linear color key, because for some reason Keylight 1.2 wasn't working. And essentially, what I'd have to do is I'd have to create a mask in order to only have the specific overlay I wanted showing at one time. So the mask could be created, and then I'd install the color key. And the trick to making anything look sci-fi on After Effects is Venetian blinds with a 90-degree angle, a slight glow, and a lot of noise. And it gives this sort of old-timey, crappy sort of computer. You'll see a lot of the stuff I use is based off the Bad TV preset, but without the wave warp, because that makes it look too distorted. So as you can see in the video itself, there were a lot of glitch effects going on, and I used a mixture of just raw glitch effect footage as well as using the displacement map, which is essentially dragging the effect onto the stuff you want to actually displace, and then you select the glitch footage as your displacement map and set it to transparent. This makes it look a lot less seamless. Like, a lot of people make the mistake of, when using a glitch effect, they don't delete the original footage. Unless you're going for a specific sort of style, it doesn't really work, because you just get this solid white overlay, which only really works if you want to do the old TV sort of style, but again, that can be emulated using After Effects already. Now, the main reason I've created this animation to look so strange in a way, because you've got this sort of very traditional animation going into this very digital, harsh animation, and I feel like, again, it's justified when you look at the game itself. It's half gothic and half sci-fi in a way. And again, I really wanted to emulate this feeling of not only hopelessness, but in a way sort of overcoming the hopelessness. Sort of, the rotor footage feels very, very sad in a way, because it's like lack of colour, very outlined, it feels sort of out of place. Then you go into this sort of heavy segment where it's sort of all about the mishmash of trying to like fight these robots, essentially winning all these battles. For example, towards the end, when you see the target indicator, I had to keyframe each movement separately, as well as changing the scale so it would actually look like it is locking onto people. There is stuff that I would like to change about it, but it did turn out quite well, and it does follow them how I'd like it. Throughout the entire animation itself, I think the most useful thing I found when it came to the text effects was essentially using an effect called decoder in, which made it look like the words were decoding into themselves, and this really worked because it fitted the idea of it being a computer. At the beginning I used decoder in with an effect called hazard, which gave it that weird janky looking effect, which I thought looked aesthetic and cool. Further on, again, I like to use decoder in or typewriter in, just essentially depends on the state of the computer I'm trying to like show. To summarise, I'm really proud of this animation because I have worked very hard on it, I'd like to think. And yes, my sort of ability is very hampered by my own experience. Like, I'm not very good at this, I just tried, essentially. And I myself am happy with the result, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. There will be more content coming out on this channel, and this is probably the first time you're going to hear my voice, but hopefully not the last. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. There's a link in the description to the original video if you haven't seen it yet. I'm really proud of it, and I appreciate any feedback given. Just try and be constructive with it. At least let me know where I've gone wrong or I could have done something better, because I need to reflect on it, and if I can I will try and make it better. There will be a lot more content, as I say, coming out on this video, on this channel, sorry. So, nice to meet you, and I hope you enjoy my content. So, thanks for listening. I have been Ewan Pennington Jones, otherwise known as Broken Ghoul, so I shall see you later. Signing up.